So how did you make out with the challenge? How is your name game working? Let's take a look at my solution, and as always, remember that your solution might be very different. As you can see in the main method, I have the two-dimensional array of names, and then I added some additional code. I wanted to allow the user to execute the program more than once, so I declared a string variable response and set it equal to y the first time. I also declare a string variable name that's going to hold the name the user would like to search for. My while loop says while response is equal to a y, ask the user to enter the name to search for. Then we'll read the name in using the name equals in.nextLine on line 32. Then I call my search name method, and I give it the two-dimensional array called names as well as the name that I'm trying to search for. If the value that comes back from the method is true, I print out the message saying the name was found. Otherwise, I print out the name was not found. Finally, I ask the user if they would like to try again. If they say yes, it'll go back to the top, and if they say no, it'll come down and say thanks for playing the name search game. Now let's take a look at the method. I hope you were able to figure out the method header, public static boolean. It's static because I'm including it inside the same program with my main, and boolean because it returns a true or false. The name of the method in my case is search name, and the arguments that I'm passing to it is a string array that contains two dimensions called names and another string called key. That's the value that I'm looking for. I have a nested for loop. The outside loop says for int row equals 0 as long as row is less than names.length, row plus plus. That allows me to change the size of my names array in the main method at any time without having to worry about changing the values down in the method. The inner for statement says for int column equals 0, column less than names at position 0.length, column plus plus. Again, this is nice because if I ever want to add a third column to my table, I can do that without changing my search name method. Then I check and say if names bracket row bracket bracket column bracket dot equals ignore case, the key, which is the name the user entered, then I can stop the method and just return true. Because once I find a match, I don't need to search anymore. If it's not equal, then I'll go back up to the inner loop and then back to the outer loop and go through the entire table. If I make it all the way through the entire table and I still haven't found a match, I'm going to execute line 52, which at the very end returns the value false. Okay, let me go ahead and play the name game so you can see how it works. I'll search for a name that I know exists. I'll put in Donald. The name was found. Would you like to try again? Let's say yes. Let's find a name that's not there. I'll enter Bob. The name was not found. And let's do one more that I know will be found. Let's look for Ray. The name was found. This time it says, would you like to try again? I'm going to say no. Thanks for playing the name search game. Well, I hope you had fun with this challenge. And if your solution is different than mine, again, don't worry, but make sure you take time to go through my solution to make sure you understand how to use a two-dimensional array and how to pass it to a method and return a Boolean value.